Hello guys, and welcome to one more video in my channel. So today I just came here to do a first and second. I know I'm a bit late, but I'm here to do a first and second trimester Q&A. I had some people asking me stuff, curiosities about, how I'm dealing being pregnant and all that, and they asked me a few questions. I have them there written so I don't forget anything. And then, they also have asked me a lot of questions about, things that I thought they were essentials, advices I would like to give, even though I'm not a pro on pregnancy, but I'm learning as I go, and probably I'm doing a lot of things wrong, but probably I'm doing a lot of things right. So this is how we're going to do today's video. I have some bits I want to show you because I just received some cute things that I want to show you. This is not going to be a baby haul or all baby clothes and baby stuff, no, but I have a few things that I want to show you because I think they're extremely cute and I just received them today and I want to share. So let's get down to it. So the first question that everyone asks me is, how did I find out that I was pregnant? And I think I already explained on the other video, and if you want I'll just leave the link below, but I'll do like a very, very, very short version of what I told on the other video. The other video is more, you can see that I explained it a bit more. I found out that I was pregnant on the 8th of April of 2023. Yeah, exactly, that was Easter Sunday. I had this feeling. I said this before, and a lot of people, probably didn't think that I was crazy, but I'm just weird. I'm just going to let you know. I knew that I wasn't alone, and I had this feeling that I could be pregnant. So I decided to take the test and positive, and then I ordered another test because the one that I had was, the normal pharmacy one, and then I ordered the clear blue one to be delivered to my house, and that one says pregnant. So I didn't kept it, which was kind of stupid. So I advise, one advice that I learned from my mistakes, that you just keep one of the tests you did, because I think it's cute. You can always, nowadays you can do like, these art things with the test and the umbilical cord and the ultrasound and the whatevers, and I think it's always, cute to have that memory. At least I took pictures. At least I have the pictures of the tests. But I didn't keep the tests. I don't know, I was kind of like surprised and blown away and all that, and I didn't quite think about keeping them. And then, a few months later, then I was talking to my mom, and my mom was like, I didn't keep the test. And I was like, oh no, I just threw them away. And she was like, oh my god, that's stupid. But she didn't, she didn't keep mine or anything, or the one that she had for my sister or anything, but just saying. So that's how I found out, and it was a happy moment. It was really, I was not like shocked or oh my god, what am I going to do, or stressed or anxious. I was, but I'm already an anxious person anyway, so it's because I have this thing that I like to control everything, and this is something that you cannot control quite, so therefore the anxiety thing. But other than that, I was totally fine. I was quite happy. I was like, oh my god, I don't know why, but I'm so ready to do this, so let's go. Then the second question people ask me is, when did I start to tell people, and which people did I told first, and blah 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 blah. So of course, being Easter Sunday, the first people that knew were my parents and my sister, and probably my birds because they were in my house, but you know, they were not people, they were, you know, birds. And but yeah, you know, the first people that knew were my parents and my sister. And I also told them, you know, told you guys about their reaction on the previous video that is on my description, so you can always check it out. And it was pretty early on the pregnancy, so I didn't want to tell anyone else, you know, immediately. So I waited until I was almost 3 months, yeah, to tell my aunt and my cousins and my uncle, of course, and my goddaughter, and you know, my little cousin. And I explained that he was probably going to have, you know, a kid to play with, a child to play with, another child in the family. So, you know, he wasn't going to be the only child anymore, so he would have like a little cousin to play with. And it was quite cute. He was quite happy about it. You know, I was with them before I even told them, and I didn't tell anything, and it was weird. Yeah, because it was like I had this secret, this huge secret that was so happy, and I wanted to share with everyone, and I just wanted to open the window and just scream, you know, like, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a child, you know, to everyone to know. But, you know, I couldn't, because it's not that I couldn't, I could have, but I don't know, I just like to play safe. You never know, right? And so yeah, so I decided to wait. So yeah, my aunt and my cousin came to my house, and you know, I just did that, you know, little play of, you know, I kind of did that with almost everyone actually, if I'm going to think about it. You know, like, do you have anything to do, you know, early December, because that's when my son is supposed to be born, you know. It doesn't mean anything. We already know that, you know, the actual dates that they give us in the ultrasound and everything, you know, doesn't mean anything, because they just come whenever they want to. But yeah, but I just asked, do you have anything to do, you know, early December? Do you have anything planned, you know? And then of course my aunt, you know, her birthday is on the 12th, and she was like, no, other than the 12th I don't have anything to do, and then we have Christmas and all that. And I was like, no, before Christmas, and probably, you know, before your birthday, and you know, around that time. And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, so what do you think about people that are Sagittarius, you know, men or women that you know that are Sagittarius? What do you have to say about it? And then of course, you know, my aunt is Sagittarius, you know, and she was like, oh, I think they are quite nice people, you know. You know, I didn't heard any complaints yet, so, you know, I think they are quite nice people. And I was like, okay, that's good to know. So yeah, so I just wanted to invite you all to the around that time. I will, you know, let you know more details about, you know, the exact day, exact time that you have to be there. But I just wanted to invite you all to come to my child's, because I didn't know he was a boy, to my child's birth. And they were like, what? You joking? You kidding? You know, all that normal reaction, like, you know, you are surprised, you're not expecting someone to just let you know, yeah, I just wanted to invite you to my child's, you know, birth, you know, whatever, you know, nothing special. It's going to be his birthday probably around that time. You're not expecting someone to just tell you that like that. So yeah, so that's how I told them, and then they were like super happy, of course. And you know, they asked me all the questions: how far along are you, you know, all that jazz that we already know that people usually ask pregnant people. Yeah, and then I went to my oldest cousin, and then that is the mom of my goddaughter and my little cousin, and I just let them know as well. And of course she was quite happy. And then she did that string test that we have here. I don't know if in other countries, you know, people actually do this, but it's usually like, it has to be a precious metal string, so, you know, either silver or gold. and then you just do, I think it will, on the hand that that is connected to your heart, that is usually, I'm sorry, I just blocked, the left hand, and then you just pass the string like 6 times on the side of your hand, and then you just, I think it's on the other side, but that's fine, it's on this side, and then you just let it like this on the top, and then if it does a circle, it's a girl, if it goes back and forward, it's a boy, and then you do it again, and if it stops, it's only 1, and if it goes again, then it's probably going, because you're going to have twins. I don't know, but it gave me 1 and it gave me a boy, and both were right. So thank God, because imagine having twins or triplets or whatever, what would I do? I cannot imagine, because until now, I'm just saying, the thought of having a child is amazing. The budget of having a child is probably not going to be great. So and I didn't do any extravagant shopping or anything. I was in the beginning probably a couple of things too much, but then the rest, I think I was quite calm for a first child, right? For a first child, I think I behaved. I quite behaved. So yeah, and then I went to tell my grandpa that he was going to be a great grandpa, and yeah, but then at that time I was already 5 months, I think, and I already did the that big echo that you do, that big tests that you do to see that everything is fine, that they do all those tests to see if the baby is fine, if he has any any problems, if he's developing fine, all that. And then I had a lot of pictures from that time, and then I should just show them, and I was like, what can you see here, what do you think about it, all that. There are a lot of people that don't see anything on ultrasounds, and they were quite clear, the ultrasounds, and you can see them as well on the shorts that I sometimes I upload here on the channel, and you can see that they are pretty clear. There's the baby there, and I was like, what do you think, this is it? Doesn't it look like a leg? Doesn't it look like an arm? And he was like, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it looks like a baby. And I was like, yes, that's your great grandson. And he just looked at me like I just told like something completely nuts. Because it was like, this was the reaction of most of my family, of course, because, and he just looked at me like this, and he was like, great grandson. And I was like, yes, he's your great grandson. What do you think? And he's like, you're pregnant? And I was like, yes, I'm pregnant. And then I think I had, I'm not quite sure, I think I had a dress that at the time, not now, honey, it's not now, but at the time it was loose. So I just, did like this so it could be fitted, so you could see that I had a belly that I thought it was huge, but compared to the one that I have now, that was no belly. But I just thought it was. It was a belly, but it wasn't like a completely enormous, gigantic, pregnant belly. It was just, I was bloated, something like of the sort. And he didn't even knew what to say. That was quite cute, He didn't know how to react to it. And then I told my other aunt, and that is my dad's sister, and my other cousin and my other uncle, and they also knew. So it was around that time. So the first people that knew were my parents and my sister, and then it was from my mom's side, my aunt and my cousins and my goddaughter, and my uncle and my little cousin, and of course my cousin's husband, obviously. So yeah, so they knew second, and then it was my grandpa, and then my other, from the other side of my family, and my aunt, my uncle, my cousin from that side. I don't have a lot of family. That's it. It's finished. My entire family, that's finished. So yeah, so they were quite happy. And then around that time as well, that I told my grandpa and all that, was the time that I told my colleagues at work and my bosses, of course, because here in Portugal, I don't know if in other countries is like this or not, or if the rules are different, probably are. But in Portugal, you have until you are 4 months pregnant to tell your employees that you are pregnant. It's not mandatory as far as I saw it, but well, it's advisable to do it, obviously, because then it seems you are hiding something. I was just waiting for everything to be clear and everything to be, fine with the baby and all that, and then I was sure that everything was fine, and the pregnancy was settled and everything was cool, and then I would be able to tell everyone, in a safe way. I don't like to play with health and anything, and my health, the health of my family, my child's, I don't like to play with it. So I just waited until everything was like, you're good to go, and I was like, okay, so now I can actually, say to people. So I just asked my doctor to pass me like this declaration that just said that I was pregnant and I was being followed and and then I just I had a meeting with my bosses, and before the meeting I just sent the email to all of my bosses, the one above me, the one above me, the one above me, and HR, of course, because they have to know, right? So then I had the meeting and they congratulated me and all that. So that's how I let everyone bosses of my job to know that. Then of course I just told, my closest co-workers in different ways. Some of them, we were in a meeting and I just told the ones that were there, same thing, what about early December? Do you have anything planned? I have excellent news to share with you, my boss was even trying to help me tell them, but they were not even paying attention to it. And I was like, listen, I'm trying to tell you something here. So you just pay attention. It was like, so 5 seconds. I just have to tell you this, and then we can go on with the meeting and talk about serious stuff. I just have something to tell you. And they first thought that I was joking. And then, I just showed them the ultrasound, and they were like, oh my God, it's actually real. You're going to be a mom. Oh my God, when, where, how? Well, not how, but you get what I'm saying. Other colleagues, I just did differently. One of them was showing me pictures, and then I was like, oh, now that you, I know that you like photos a lot. So let me just, what do you think about this? And I just showed one of the ultrasounds. What do you think about this? It's a black and white picture. What do you think? And he was like, you're not just telling me this. And I was like, yes, I no, you're not just telling me this like this. And I was like, yes, I am. And then the other one was right beside me, and I was having like this crazy day. And I was stressing out a lot because the day was not going well. And and now I realized there were hormones. I started crying like crazy. And then I just, blurted out, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's not about my pregnancy, obviously. It was, just because the day was not going well and I was having like this crazy meltdown. I don't even know how to explain it, it was probably a very stressful day. Now that I looked at it, I was very, very stressed. I had this huge thing inside me of, I don't want to make like a huge thing out of this. A lot of decisions to have to be made. My brain was like super full with things that I wanted to take care of, and now I realize, honeys, you don't have to be stressed, you don't have to be anxious, because you have more than time to do everything. Believe me, you don't have to stress. But at the time it looked like I didn't have enough time to do everything, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this and work at the same time? And and I was just trying to put my hand in the right mind space, and and he was right there next to me, and I love him to bits, and I just told him, I'm pregnant. And he just looked at me like, what? And I was like, I'm pregnant, but like crying, like hysterically. Poor man. But yeah, but he was, well, he was happy and he was trying to, calm me down. Because I was so stressed on that day. I know this is not the right way to tell people, but I couldn't help it, I was feeling so, I don't know, so out of control of everything and so crazy, and I just blah, But it was at the same time, I just, they were not on that meeting, and then I told them after, it was around that time. I was not planning on telling them before I tell my bosses, of course. I didn't want anyone to know for the same reasons that I just told you before, health-wise, and, baby is fine, and everything is okay, and, blood tests and all that. So those were kind of like the big reactions that I had, except the one from, he was always, he was my childhood best friend, and he works at the same company as me, and and he was in the car with me, and I just told him, I have something to tell you, and the same thing about December, and I just told him, yeah, because that's when my son is going to be born. No, my child is going to be born, because he knew before, because he's basically family. He knew before, around the same time that I told my family, that's when I told him. And I told him, and he was like looking at me like, you're joking. And everyone was asking me if I was joking. Listen, I was not joking. You think I'm going to joke about being pregnant? Yeah, I'm just letting you know that I'm pregnant, but I'm joking at the same time. Like, listen, no, I'm not going to play with something serious. Especially look at my face. No, I can't understand. I can understand that looking at my face, probably people will, doubt that I'm actually talking serious, because I do a lot of jokes. But yeah, but I told him, and it was like you're joking, and the same thing. And then I just told him, listen, I'm just telling you now, you're not going to tell anyone, because I still need to do the test and all that. Let's not go there again. And I'm just letting you know, because my mom is going to tell your mom today. So they're going to take a coffee this afternoon. They're going to talk, and my mom is going to tell your mom. So I just thought it was fair for you to know as well, so your mom wouldn't have to hide you anything. And I want you to know, listen, extremely helpful, that guy. Listen, he's an excellent friend. That's all I have to say. Because, not that the other ones are not, but we live close to each other, because his parents live here and my parents live here, and we grew up together, and and we go to work together, and we come from work together and all that jazz. And and sometimes I remember that sometimes I was not feeling okay, or I was a bit like nauseous, I was a bit sick, I was a bit stressed, I was a bit whatever I was, symptoms or not. He was extremely worried and trying to figure out how to deal with it with me. There was one time that I was nauseous in the car, and he was like, did you eat anything? And I was like, no, I didn't eat anything since lunch. And he was like, do you think that's normal? You have to feed that child. Eat some crackers. So yeah, that kind of friend, the kind of friend that we need, right? To be next to us, like, oh yeah, I'm not very used to this, right? To have to feed someone else other than me. I'm used not to eat, but now, no, but you have to be careful, and you have to eat, in certain times, so you're not hungry, and then you're not nauseous, and then you have to drink water, and then you have, like, okay, I'm going to eat some crackers. And I just grabbed my crackers, and I was driving at the same time as I was eating, because he was like, you have to eat now because the child is nauseous. So it was quite funny. So the other question that I have a lot is, how was I feeling, or how am I feeling, all the symptoms I have and all that. And I'm just going to let you know, I'm feeling great. I don't have anything anything to complain about this pregnancy. Anything. And I'm being super serious. Anything. This was a blessed pregnancy since the beginning until now. And I'm almost at the end of my pregnancy. Blessed pregnancy. Even he agrees. He's kicking me right now.